sat here with Kerry Hughes, who was until not very long ago an RPE student, but you graduated.
Yay!
Yesterday, and you had your graduation. But since you finished the course, you've been on teacher training.
Yeah.
Using one of the new Teach Direct.
School Direct, yeah.
Routes, which means that you're kind of learning on the job.
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing I wanted to ask you was, what's it been like being a trainee teacher in a school?
It's really good, but it is quite stressful.
Right.
I don't know if your students know much about the difference between sort of like PGCE and SCIT and things.
Some of them will, many of them won't know the different routes that you can take.
Right,
so.
okay. So there's PGCE, which is where you do it at a university, and you have lectures at a university, and then you go into school for shorter placements.
You have your placement blocks.
Yeah, so you have, generally, depending on what uni it is, 2 or 3, but they're much shorter placements. Then there's Schools Direct, which I'm on, which is where you're based in school from day one. But for the first half term, I had lectures for 1 day a week about theory of teaching, and I was in school for the rest of the time. And that comes under school-centred initial teacher training, which is, if you hear SCIT programmes being referred to, that's what they are.
Is, yeah.
I personally chose to go down the SCIT route because you get more time in your schools. And it's more similar to being a teacher. So from day one, you're expected to fulfil the duties of a teacher. So I have a tutor group, I do break time duties, I'm involved in assemblies. I've been teaching full lessons literally from my first week. Whereas with PGC students, you're broken a lot more gently. But schools tend to say you're better prepared for your NQT year if you've done school-centred teacher training rather than PGCE. And you're more likely to get a job if you do a SCIT programme because they recruit for shortages in that subject in that area.
Yes, so there are big gaps. There are different approaches to people can take, and different approaches might suit them depending on what experience they've got and how much they feel kind of confident. So a lot of being a teacher, as you've discovered, is about performing what it's been, being a teacher.
I'm not an actual born performer, but I am an actress, and I've been videoed teaching, and I was like, that's not me. It's a really big shock.
Yeah, you have to take on that. Persona. And people aren't used to that. One route might suit them more than another, but that's kind of interesting. And presumably, you found that it's been kind of tough working with kids, or they've kind of been mixed. Yeah,
absolutely. I think the best bit of advice I can give to any students is to get experience in a school first. So I worked at Churchdown in Gloucester when I was here for 18 months, and that was really, really good. And that helped me get onto teacher training. And then I volunteered in my school after finishing my degree from May until July, which I found really helpful. But as soon as you can get into a classroom and do things, do it. Because otherwise you get nervous and you just put it off, and then it's harder when you do it. So to begin with, I was really nervous taking a register. And I was like, oh my God, I can't take a register. And now I'm teaching 2-hour-long lessons.
So I guess if you don't spend time in them regularly, schools, secondary schools, can be potentially quite intimidating or scary places. There's a lot of noise, everyone knows where they're going apart from you.
Yeah.
And I think once you're part of it, you don't kind of feel too anxious about that.
No, and I think that's, so whenever I say I'm teaching secondary school children, I was like, oh my God, you're so brave. But it's not as bad as people think it is, and I absolutely love it. And it is, once you're there and you know your way around and you get to know children, it's really nice.
And so what age group have you been raised in your school?
I teach 11 to 16-year-olds, so year 7 through to year 11. I also teach AS level, but we have that as gifted and talented, so the children aren't older, they just take it earlier.
Right, you just a particular group. So you've been teaching that for religious studies? Religious studies,
and then, AS level philosophy.
Yeah, fantastic.
So, it's really good.
And so you're now halfway through it?
Nearly, about just over a third. So.
Well, just over a third through it. And that means that when you finish the year, you'll be fully qualified and ready to do a newly qualified teacher NQT year.
Yes.
And get a job.
Yeah, so a lot of SCIT programmes also offer a PGCE. So I have qualified teacher status and a PGCE accredited by the University of Sussex.
Right,
So you have to do 2 placements, a minimum of 2 placements in 2 different schools. So after Christmas, I'm going for a short placement of 6 weeks in a Catholic school. Then I'll be going back to my starter school after February half term.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for saying that, and best of luck.
Thank you very much. Thanks.